It's another week. Hello and welcome to press conference right here on Citi TV, where journalists gather to dissect the major press briefings and press engagements in the course of the week under review. My name is Duke Mensah Opoku. In this edition, well, a lot has been happening this week regarding the COVID-19 coronavirus outbreak. Interestingly or surprisingly or scaringly, next door neighbor Togo recorded its first case just about 2 days ago. That's on Friday. Senegal has recorded many more cases since the first one they had. South Africa recorded about 3 cases as of today, and many other countries in the sub-region are recording cases. Nigeria, if I may put it that way. In the week, the Ministry of Health organized a press briefing to update Ghanaians on the state of preparedness. The president also toured some installations: Kotoka International Airport, the Greater Accra Regional Hospital, RIG, and the Tema General Hospital, to keep himself abreast with the state of preparedness, to which he said that he is satisfied. So we'll be looking at that matter in detail, the press briefings. Of course, Parliament was also briefed this week by the Health Minister. Then we'll look at the happenings in Sogakope. Very, very, very chilling. An assemblyman in his 30s was killed in his house. About 45 minutes, we are told a distress call was placed to the police. They never responded to it. The youth subsequently rioted. In fact, they reacted, clashed with the police, throwing of stones. The police responded with, guns and all of that. We'll be looking at that. Is that symptomatic of the new police-civilian relations in our country? And what is ahead in terms of the security situation? And what does this tell us about the state of security in the country? We'll be looking at the Sogakope killing and the riots. And finally, the issue that seems not to be going away anytime soon, the inter-party resistance against the new register. Of course, the political parties against the compilation of the new register this week addressed a press conference accusing the EC of telling lies regarding the biometric voter devices and whether they are obsolete or whether they can be replaced and all of that. We'll be looking at that issue also on press conference in this edition. The show is live and interactive via the WhatsApp line 055-058-5832, 055-058-5832. Outside Ghana, you add the prefix +233 so that we can get your comments and read them. You can also join us alternatively via the Facebook stream. Drop your comments. We would read them for you. And also on Twitter, the hashtag is press conference. I'll take a break here. When I come back, I'll introduce my guests. We'll delve into the issues. Don't flip the channel. This is Citi TV. Welcome back. This is press conference right here on Citi TV. Let me introduce my guest. My immediate left is Senna Nombo. Senna Nombo is a news anchor with Radio Gold. These days they operate mostly online. Yes. Another reason why Radio Gold should be back on air.
Important.
Yes. Yeah. Next to him is Anna Seidu. He's a security correspondent here at Citi FM and Citi TV. Welcome, Anas.
Thank you.
And to the far left is Blessed Soga. He's a news anchor with Class 91.3 FM. Welcome, Blessed.
Duke, it's good to see you again.
Good to see you too.
Yeah.
All right. So let's set the issues in perspective. First issue we're discussing has got to do with the COVID-19 coronavirus outbreak. And I started from China, of course, recording dozens of cases as of today. Well, the Minister for Health this week briefed the press and the entire nation by extension on the state of preparedness against the virus should we record a case.
Some of us may not want to go home if you announce that the facility is behind their houses. So in these instances, there are certain things that are kept quiet and people shouldn't know where we are. So we are not announcing where these places are, just to make sure that we don't get unnecessary agitations and pressure on us. We did an initial budget of 35 million. We got a seed money of 2.8. We have got indication of another release of about 11 million. And this morning, aside these 2 tranches, the finance minister had met with the governor of Bank of Ghana. They called me on a telephone conference meeting, and we had to send a team from our side to go and meet finance people to discuss a comprehensive budget with a view of trying to search for more resources to put at our disposal to do this fight. So when it comes to resources, it looks like we are on course.
But before he briefed the media, he was first in Parliament to brief MPs.
As yet, we have not found any Kenyan that has contacted this disease. either in country or even outside the country. Mr. Speaker, procurement of more reagents and primers for confirmation of coronavirus cases is actually ongoing to support the two big research centers. A quarantine center has been established. Another remotely located 100-bed capacity facility is being secured for the purpose of quarantine for eligible persons, and this will be ready for use in 2 weeks. We do not hope that we will get to that situation.
So that's the Health Minister, Kweku Agyeman. A series of measures at least mentioned that increased allocation from 2.5 million, another 11 million cedis, that's equivalent of $2 million, has been added on. Government is building setting up a 100-bed quarantine facility outside Accra, and then also 25-bed facility, Deborah Ward, at the 37 Military Hospital, also being completed. It will be done in 3 weeks with the help of funding from the World Bank. So a couple of measures there. The President also toured some facilities. From what you've heard so far, is there any inkling to believe or to sense that we are prepared? I mean, just here, nearby Togo, across the flower border, is in Togo.
Well, Duke, the news that the Republic of Togo recorded its first case of coronavirus was not much of a surprise to many. If you've been watching the trend from around the world, it tells you that almost every country involved in this very case is very vulnerable, including the Republic of Ghana as well. What I am amazed at is the trend and traits of how the COVID-19 is spreading across the world. Yeah. Interestingly, you find Wuhan, which is within the Hubei province of the People's Republic of China, having a situation where on a daily basis they seem to be reducing the number of new infections that they have.
I think for the past 2 weeks, no new infections.
And that's very surprising. But outside of China, you have a situation where cases are increasingly on the rise all across many countries, and not just Italy. Even the United States of America has been affected by this case. So it tells you that it appears that China is learning the lessons from being the first, unfortunately, being the first country that had suffered the COVID-19 virus. And they've, of course, practically learned how this virus spreads, and they've put in practical measures to check its further spread. And, of course, if you look at some of the measures that the Chinese government has put in place, they've locked down Wuhan entirely, and I'm sure that these are some of the measures that are preventing a further spread. So other countries, by and large, it is my hope that they would learn how this virus works and then putting some check measures. As of now, there are no vaccines, there are no concrete treatments, but I can say that in China, if you look at the figures, the recovery rate appears to be so fast. I don't know what the government there in China has been doing, but
that part is virtually on a lockdown, and
yes.
China is not as open as a society as the rest of us in the world. So
that's
one of the advantages of totalitarianism.
The measures that they are putting in place as of now, but throughout the world, China as of now remains the country with the highest recovery rate. They are hovering somewhere around 71% because the total number of affected cases was somewhere around 80,000. So far, about 57,000 people have fully recovered. And Duke, what this tells us is that I may affect the sensitivity of parents involved and persons who have relatives in China, but government appears to be justified in their decision not to evacuate citizens from China back into this country. Well, I know exactly by saying that. But if you look at the trend elsewhere, even in the US, in South Korea, the cases keep rising and they are not able to deal with the recovery rate. But as of now, China has demonstrated enough capacity to try and treat persons. At least they've done that, and they are showing the records for it. So if that's the case in China, I'd not need the government here in Ghana to assure me that they've put in enough measures in place to check the virus. Because it is a virus, there is an epidemic, and in times like this, government assurances would not stop the virus from spreading. All we can do and hope at this point will be that the virus does not move into the Republic of Ghana. Because even when I move into another country, and God forbid I bring it into this country, the virus, you're not going to notice that within a period of 14 days.
But the necessity or how important these measures are is essentially for containment.
Well, the measures are good, but I mean, ever since the outbreak, every country, every government has put in place measures. In fact, in the United States of America, that's the world superpower, they assured their citizens that we're going to put in check measures, and yet they recorded over 400 cases as of now. So
maybe
if
because
that's
they quickly went to evacuate their citizens.
Well, I'll come to the issue of evacuation, but I'm trying to tell you that there's no government in this world today
that can entirely prepare 100% foolproof.
You cannot.
All right.
Because the virus has given us, its trend of spread has given us enough grounds to believe that you may come in and no one would even detect the case in the first place until you get into contact with about 4 or 5 people. So we'll just hope and pray that it does not spread. The next thing will be about evacuation. And yes, I mean, get the wrath of a lot of people, but the fact still remains that if you look at the trend, almost every country, every nation around this world that has attempted bringing back their citizens from China have almost always recorded at least one case of the coronavirus. You look at Egypt. South Africa is planning to do that just before and hours or days ahead of their plan. They've already recorded a case. And you can predict that when they bring about 151 of their citizens from South Africa, there would likely be another infection. Ghana has about 350 citizens within Wuhan itself. So if you have such a population there, well, would it be safe to bring all these people back? So let's just trust the process. The Chinese government has assured us that at least they have the facility. They were able to build hospitals within 9 days.
1,000-bed holding facility.
So some level of concrete measures there. Here in Ghana, I'm not sure we have the facilities. I mean, let's face it.
100-bed is being put together in 2 weeks.
100-bed
not being built from
facility
scratch. I mean, it's being put together.
for you're going to consider bringing back 350 of your nationals. That 100-bed, it's not even enough
for those.
So let's just hope and pray that Ghana is exempt from this case, and would also we need to and one more thing, we need to improve the level of education. When Ebola was around, even the cases of HIV, when we had cases of HIV, you saw some level of commitment in terms of public education and adverts going around. But that's not happening in the case of coronavirus. So probably something should be done around that area.
Anas, he seems to, this is a human security issue as well. Yeah. He seems to have voted for our kinky and shito and sardine approach of sending supplies to our students in China instead of, evacuating them. But how do you diagnose the situation from the human security perspective?
Thank you very much, Duke. I think when the issue started, when the virus started, we heard that for the past 2 weeks, there's not been any fresh case of the virus in China. Yeah. They didn't achieve that by talking. They didn't achieve that by organizing press conferences. They put together a mechanism that was going to work. For instance, on the 23rd of January, when they recorded about 490 cases, what happened? The local authorities of Wuhan decided that we are going to lock down the city. The next day, the number of infections increased from 495 to 572. That was where they started the first batch of medical practitioners came into the city to help bring it down. Then we also saw a large-scale evacuation of the people involved within that particular area. And there was a directive to Chinese companies, and I will emphasize this, there was a directive to Chinese companies to commence the building of a 1,000-bed facility to contain this. This is within 48 hours after they recorded that. Then we have 19,000 medical people coming from 19 provinces within China to help. This is internal. We had another 15,000 medical practitioners coming in, then 6,000. The manufacturing of masks ballooned from 8 million to 54 million so that they could help their own people. These were internal measures and a whole number of things that was put together to ensure that the virus was contained. In our case, the demand from the Ministry of Health is 35 million for the initial arrangement to ensure that we contain the virus. The initial deposit from government was 2.5 out of the 35 million. Later, they added 11 million to it.
Which was just about 3 days ago.
It means that what we need to set up the basics is not there. We don't have the money. So today, if we have an outbreak and the authorities, they need that particular amount to help themselves, it means that will not work. We understand Ridge Hospital, Tema General Hospital, and Kolebu. They are the designated point for these cases. Of course, we have the other 16 regional hospitals on standby to take care of these things. The last time we checked, we realized that Tema General Hospital didn't have running water. How do you select a center to take care of this and they don't have the basic necessities
this
like
same
water?
Tema General Hospital was our holding center for Ebola. Yes. And apparently until this week, we didn't even know that Ghana recorded a case of Ebola until Dr. Okuboy told the whole nation in Parliament. And I think we should be questioning the health ministers at the time, or the health minister at the time, as to why the whole country was not told that indeed we had recorded a case of Ebola. He said it in Parliament on Wednesday. That it was at this same time, General Hospital we are talking about, that the case was treated, but unfortunately, the person lost his life. Okay,
so Duke, talking about our preparedness in this regard, comparing what China did within this short period to ensure that they had results, which we are seeing today, 2 weeks, no fresh case. In our case, I don't think we are fully prepared. We are giving out press conferences, telling people, even when we had the Director General, who is supposed to be the technical boss for the Ghana Health Service, he couldn't tell the public the contact you could call to report a suspected case on live TV. That's a serious matter. And
on Wednesday, the minister announced some numbers in Parliament in a short code, I think 199.
Yes, but before then, when we had him, he was supposed to come with all that so that he could tell the people. Secondly, why should it be a secret that we have a place that's designated to quarantine people who are suspected to be infected with coronavirus?
He explained that.
No, but
that people will vacate their residences if they get to know that the quarantine center. I mean, we've not verified the story, but we've been told that when a suspected case was recorded at Kolebu, the doctors and the nurses fled.
Yes, but
we've not verified that story. Yes, but that's what we hear.
That should tell you that the people there are not prepared. Do you know that when you still go to the hospital these days for basic checkups, you see a nurse attending to you without safety gloves? They will attend to you with their bare hands. So assuming after attending to you and checking your temperature, they realize that your temperature is about 45. That's a suspected case. By then, the medical practitioner, they are attached to with their bare hands. So I don't think we are prepared from a policymakers' point of view. We should do more. We should give Ghana Health Service what they need. We should start it from there and put in measures that we can see that they are actually working. You know that our emergency health system is nothing to write home about. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. So to add COVID-19 to it, with limited funding as usual, it tells you that if we are hit by this virus, within some few days, the effect will be devastating.
Senna, let me come to you. When push comes to shove, can we survive this?
That's a difficult question to answer. Because if you're looking around Europe, I think you look at the Italian experience. One of the things that is showing, even the Americans are struggling to even contain.
Currently, 16 million people are on lockdown in Italy. So that's 16 million.
That should
tell you the whole population of a country.
That should tell you, those are countries that have proper structures in place that are able to do particular things whenever they want to do. And they are struggling. What if we come to Ghana? What would you do? And this is a country where already people are going around being told that the weather makes it difficult for the disease to spread. People are talking about drinking akpeteshi and everything will help.
Too much misinformation.
There's so much going around in this country. I think one of the things we need to learn is that if you look at the WHO, The WHO recently released a report on some of the countries assessing their preparedness. One of the countries they raised issues about was Ghana, where they felt that, one, we're still allowing people in, traffic in and out was a huge issue, that the preparations at the airport was a huge issue. Then they also looked at even the quarantine process that you were talking about. Yeah. That was also raised. You're talking about the money issue. Is that allocation? The question is whether the money has even been released. Do our health workers know what they need to do in case a disease outbreak happens? What happens immediately? I think those are some of the questions they need to be answering. And then one other question that we all need to be answering is, how are the Chinese dealing with this? And who is trying to learn what the Chinese are doing to deal with it? Because they had some very serious issues when the outbreak started. Because they initially they were the hardest hit. Yeah. They were the first people to record a case. The question, how have they been able to stem the tide? That is the key question the world needs to be answering if we want to learn how to deal with this issue. For a country like Ghana, I think, like my brother said, and that's where we always fall to, prayer.
Well, I think what's really it's important to communicate during issues like this. Apart from the press conferences, we should hear the jingles on radio and in local languages, on TV, and in the local languages as well, translated all over, so that people, the precautions, the numbers, and the rest. Well,
I'm not cutting you, but this is the point. When we are going for a referendum or
elections, so voter registration.
Elections.
You have a lot of money on this things.
on communication. Yeah. The World Health Organization has raised concern about disinformation regarding COVID-19, and they've stated this at a number of press engagements that they've done. So, if that's the case, why not put so much effort into educating the public about basic hygienic conditions and how we could avoid this whole situation? That's my concern.
I also think by this time we should know some of the misinformation within the public, and there should be attempts to deal with those misinformations. If not, we would have a big issue. But for example, I've been watching some television stations from the West where they are saying you're not supposed to touch your face. I've tried that. It's not so easy to do. So some of those things.
And handshakes.
Yes.
All right. So we'll take a break here. When I come back, we have your messages, and there is more to be discussed on the program. This is Press Conference. You're welcome back. This is Press Conference right here on Citi TV. I'm still in studio with Senna, Anas, and Blessed. Let me bring in some of your comments. This one from our regular contributor, Prince Henry from Koforidua, says we had money when the parliamentarians wanted a new chamber worth $200 million, but we can't raise 35 million Ghana cedis to prepare for COVID-19. Rather, we are praying for every lab test to be negative. Our leaders should up their game. Ghana deserves better. Gisman Emmanuelson from Nsawam Prison Barracks says Togo recording one case is very dangerous because the Aflao border is very porous. This one from Inshallah says it is not by our preparedness. The Almighty Allah who saved us from Ebola will save us from this Toyota or coronavirus. Baba Abotreye, Ashalibotre St. Peters, says ironically the minister, in telling us how prepared we were, his hands kept rubbing his nose. Where was his nose gear? Who said people would not go to their home when they hear the designated areas were around their homes? He was being mischievous. You think the Minister of Health was being mischievous? Now, George from Afuhuidium says, obviously, it's easier critiquing everything government is putting in place. I see no reason to compare our preparedness with China. Even Europe and America, with all their might, are suffering containing this. We should trust the process and stop the fear mongering. Keep educating the people. Bonti Benjamin from Achime Buakwa says consistent education on the causes and the effects of coronavirus must be put across at all times, or must be hammered. Yes, must be hammered at all times. Well, let's move away from coronavirus to another security issue. This is a real security issue. An assemblyman, an entrepreneur in Sogakope, Tong district, North Tong, South Tong, yes, South Tong, lost his life, not through a natural cause, but after an armed attack, violent attack on his home 45 minutes of breaking of his door. He was mutilated, and some monies were taken out. For 30,000, we are told the wife was injured, but he was killed. We are told the police, for some 45 minutes, distress calls were placed with the police, but the police did not respond, only to get close, and the assailants bolted. But a day after, the youth, of course, the man is an assembly member, a popular young opinion leader in the part of the country. So, of course, the youth marshaled forces, blocked the Lower Volta Bridge. And the following day, they rioted and clashed with the police. First of all, let's hear from the DC, Mr. Louis Agama of Sogakope, South Tong.
Yeah, when issues of such nature come, we call that set meeting, and then we have briefing from the security chiefs. Recently, there were some policemen who were moved out of the district, about 15 of them, but those replaced were only 8 or 7. And we need more police personnel to beef up with those in the district.
And then what assurances are you giving to your people?
Yes, I'll meet them at my office. So whatever grievances they will put across, we take it from there.
So that was the DC for the area. But our own Umaru Sandamadu went to the grounds to report on Monday. Here's what he discovered.
That bullet is not the one that will touch.
These are live bullets being fired now.
They are not today, something is going to happen at Sogakope here because we are suffering from police. They can't be doing anything. What is their problem? They are paying them.
But this is dangerous. They are
the security behind us.
But
so when
firing,
something happens,
what
something happens? What can they protect us?
But these are
live protectors.
These are live bullets.
They are hot.
They are firing live bullets.
We are not afraid of police. We are not afraid of police. What? We are not afraid. See the gun. We are going to spoil everything here.
But they are going to shoot you.
No, we don't have a problem because of our manager. Right. Let's go there.
I'm afraid I will not go with you.
So that's how heated things were in Sogakope. And Sogakope has a special place in my heart because it's the only part of the Volta region I know. Yes, so I was amazed these things happened there. But we have a proper Sogakope boy in the studio. He born and bred, grew up, worked in Sogakope for a while before he moved to Accra. Senna, how did how did this story come to you, especially being very familiar with the things? First of all, for me, for something like this, the crime, the gruesome killing of the gentleman who have occurred in a place like Sogakope, you would expect that this would happen in a cosmopolitan area like Accra or Kumasi, but for such a dastardly act to happen in Sogakope, and the reaction, how did you receive this story?
Well, actually, it has been building up for some time. Frankly, I've been hearing some stories from the area which suggested that we're going to come to this.
Really?
Because before this incident happened, there was actually a robbery in some suburb of the area called Wume, where actually a mobile money vendor, they attacked him, took his things away, shot him. As we speak now, he's still at battle recovering. And any other person who attempted to come to help him was shot at.
Wow.
So something like that has happened before. There was also an incident in Sogakope where there's a place called the Bread Market where a farm milk, a joint where they sell farm milk products. Mm-hmm. The robbers came in there, daylight robbery, took away their sales and everything. Yes. So it's been happening. It's just that this one attracted attention because of the person involved and because of the fact that the youth decided to show some anger.
Okay, and sorry, but this is just a statement that is coming in from the police service, signed by Corporal Prince Dogbache, Public Affairs, says 4 persons have been arrested on suspicion for their involvement in the killing of the assemblyman for Sogakope South Electoral Area. The police is working assiduously in partnership with all relevant stakeholders to arrest anyone involved in the killing. So, good news, 4 persons arrested. I'm sure Anas will throw more light on that when we come to it.
Yeah. But like I was saying, so we're getting here. Just that the way this particular one happened, I think that was what got the youth angry, because you're talking about I know Mauto very well. Actually, we're mates at Sogakope Secondary School.
Oh.
So I know him
Was
very
your
well.
mate at Sogakope?
Yes, yes. And he started business when we were still in school. Yes. So he's done very well for himself. And even recently, he donated a flat screen TV to the police in Sogakope.
Wow.
So he has personal relationship with the police in Sogakope. So I can imagine that when the people were trying to break through, he had time to even call some of those people he knew and ask them to come to his aid. Because they say it took time for them to break through his gates into the room. So if it happens to Mauto, like Maxwell Lukuto told me that you feel like if it happened to Mauto, then they'll be killed like fowls. So that was one of the reasons you saw what you saw when it came to the reaction of the youth. But this was building up. And I think the earlier something is done about it, the better. The crime rate in Sogakope and its suburb is going up.
It's bad because and actually because Sogakope also has a niche as a very fine tourist destination as well.
Yes, it was one of the fastest growing economies in the area.
Tourism.
Yes, not only in terms of tourism. It's a trade hub. They do a lot of trading, and there's a lot of money moving in the system. So there's so much to fight for, and I think that's one of the biggest challenges that I think they need to. The Volta Regional Police Command need to take a second look at the police, look at it carefully, look at the trend of crime there, and see what is what the reason for that is, and see if it can station police officers that are able to deal with the situation a bit more properly. Because you cannot treat every community the same way when you are perhaps putting up a police post or dealing with security issues. You have to deal with every community uniquely. So they need to take a second look at Sogakope.
All right, let me come to you, Anas. Anas, is this symptomatic of, citizenry that are losing trust in the ability of the police to protect them, and the call for the police to, for want of a better word, evacuate or send out all the policemen there and bring in new people? Is there a sound call from the residents?
Yes, I don't even think it was the community that was supposed to call for this. Practices in security over 3 years, 4 years, you have to transfer all the security or police personnel from the area and bring in new people. What would that do? It will cut the ties between some unscrupulous security personnel who were having deals with locals in the area. It helps.
You said the period is how long?
Like 3 to 5
Every
years.
Every 3 to 5 years, there must be a change.
So if we check, they even transfer sometimes 6 months, a year, so that you don't acquaint yourself with the people too much. But before I go into what is happening on the ground, I will generalize it, because what is happening in Sogakope is almost the same in most of the rural areas that police people operate.
Okay.
The practice is the same across the country. So, for instance, if we go to the Upper West region, from the regional capital, Wa, to Hamle, in a day, you can count between 10 to 15 police checkpoints, but they are always robberies, broad daylight. It tells you that the concentration of the police officers at these various checkpoints is not on the security of the people, but to collect something from some drivers. Before I move into that, Duke, let's compare the statement that was issued today to what was the one that was issued by the command earlier. The regional command issued a statement. The earlier one, checkpoint 4, it stated that the police were called. Let me read point 3. At 1:10 hours same day, Prince Saki, a neighbor, reported the same attack at the Sogakope police station. Subsequently, the police patrol team was called to respond. However, the team was far from the scene. That is point 3. Point 4, it will be instructive to note that the police did not delay in arriving at the scene. Compare the last part of point 3 and the first part of point 4. Put that together and compare that to what the community people are saying about the response time of the police.
Yeah.
Something there doesn't add
But even
up.
if you look at the the crime scene and you check the pictures, the broken door tells a story of how long it took.
And they brought out the safe, broke it in his yard. A safe is not just a wallet or a pouch that you just break open. You must make loud noise to be able to break that up. It will take time. And there was a checkpoint, according to the community members, from where the incident happened. And the checkpoint was like, let's even take a 10-minute walk. It tells you that any sound of breaking a safe or gunshots will draw the attention of the police officers who were there. Let's come to today's statement that has been issued. Check point 4 again. In another development, 2 police officers have been arrested and are currently in detention following the disappearance of one service rifle at Sogakope police station on 7th March 2020.
7th March, that's yesterday.
Yes. The police, however, state that the 2 suspects, they've been quickly transferred to the regional headquarters, but they are saying that they have no connection with the incident that happened. And they want us to believe that.
But this happened yesterday.
Yes,
the rifle got missing yesterday.
No, they were arrested yesterday.
It doesn't mean that
the rifle got missing yesterday.
That's true.
You get it. They were arrested yesterday. It will be easy for me to draw the connection between these two. There's a procedure for receiving a rifle at a police station as a police officer. When you go, there's a station officer who is like the IGP at the station. You write your name, a gun or a rifle is allocated to you, the serial number is booked, and they indicate where you are taking it to. When you bring it back, you enter those details, they pick the rifle back from you and put it in the armory. At what point in this chain were they able to pick the gun out? This now brings me back to the local policing. You get to these areas, police officers dress up in the morning, and they go to work like every other civil servant. That is not supposed to be happening.
How is it? What's supposed to happen?
As a police officer, first of all, before you even step out to work, gathering intelligence should be part of your work. You start to work the moment you wake up from bed as a police officer. The last time I checked, the whole of the Volta region, they don't have up to 3 crime scene specialists. It tells you that at the scene that Maus or the assembly member was killed, if you went there, if these people went there, the police officers, I can tell you if they are asked to bring evidence against any of the 4 people who are currently being investigated, it will be very difficult to take them to court and convict them. Because our way of gathering evidence is shambolic. It tells you how policing is done at that level. Let's come to how the police at the local level want the citizens to see them.
Yeah.
They believe in you as the authority and power because you arrest them, collect their motorbikes, let them pay money,
That's
allegedly.
True. Yes.
They are expecting you.
For bribe taking.
What I can tell you is that this dawn, a woman was attacked in Sogakope, and they called the police. Fortunately for her, the reinforcement that was called in, they are still in Sogakope. They came with their sirens, and that scared the attackers away. It tells you that there are robbery syndicates within Sogakope, and if they want to flush them out, it should take a proper operation, joint operation with the military. That's what I would propose, with the military to ensure that they do a major operation in the area that will be taking, they should even take off the local police from the area. For instance, when we went to Georgia and they arrested those suspected homeland security,
secessionists.
Yes, when they were arrested, when we went there, it was only the military and the media that went. The police that came, they made them guard the helipad. They didn't go to the scene. It tells you something. But what I'm saying is that...
Are they perceived to be incompetent?
No. But you are the one manning the area. It took the military 66th Artillery Regiment from Volta region and Defense Intelligence from Accra to go and effect the arrest. These are just a handful of personnel. You have over 1,000 personnel in the region, and you couldn't detect this. That's why I tell you that the police people will go to work as every other civilian, which is not supposed to be so. It means that they can't protect you in this. In this. So I think an operation should be mounted. Many people should be arrested from the place.
Should there be a mass transfer of police officers from Sogakope?
Definitely. They should clear them off. They should wipe them off and take them far away, bring in new people to come and take care of the place. And if you see, the people said, that when they were protesting, they said, we don't want police, we want the military. We don't want police, we want the military. And when the military came,
they will give them the respect.
They cleared the road and they handed over to them. It tells a story. So the police, I think, should step up. The regional command should step up and ensure that these two police officers who are arrested, we've heard of them, they should at least punish them. Then we know that they are up to something. That will even take the perception away from us that when it is their own, people are arrested and action taken. When 5 police officers were killed within the space of 31 days, what happened?
But even
within
the
next 1 month.
Even the one who caused someone to jump on his bonnet, the viral video, that person has been arrested.
Yes.
So as for how the police deal with people when their own is affected, it's on record. We know that they can arrest the people in record time.
Yes.
So just that when it comes to other people, it becomes
after that incident, we saw about 8 to 12 raids, and they arrested over 1,000 people. Over 1,000 people within a month, because they had killed 5 police officers. We want to see justice or action when it happens to normal citizens, so that at least our confidence in the police can come back.
All right, let's go to Blessed.
Well, Duke, let me just be brief about this, because obviously there are a lot of people grieving at this time, and our hearts are with them. I understand that the former president, John Dramani Mahama, was
there today,
in that part of the country today, and he's confirmed the fact that this gentleman was also a member of the National Democratic Congress. So that's a big loss to the party as well. And
I'm told he almost contested for branch chairman the last time.
Well, so it's confirmed that he's also a member of the National Democratic Congress. And I would not want to run down the police service at this time. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt. My brother here wants all service personnel serving in that area to be moved away. But the fact is that they don't even have the personnel. I'm not surprised Senna is talking about the fact that, there is a growing level of insecurity within Sogakope. This is because when the story first broke, media interactions with the DC revealed that he had received reports from those, from the police service, the police units there, indicating to his outfit that they were losing their men, people were being transferred, they didn't have enough men on the grounds, and that there was an urgent need for the District Security Council to take an immediate step for reinforcement. That was never done. And he confirmed when the story broke that for some time now they've been complaining about personnel. So you knew about this situation for a very long time. Yet, the District Security Council was very quiet about it until now that we're having the effects on the people there and in terms of security. But I would look at the bigger picture of the Volta region itself. By and large, the Volta region is becoming insecure. I would want to use that word loosely. I think that the Regional Security Council, led by Dr. Archibald Yao-Lecha, has to change the security measures that they are deploying in the region. The region is not only facing cases of robbery, there are secessionist attempts going on there. And from late last year, constantly, there are cases that threaten the stability of this particular region. And these things are all happening because secession thrives on the belief that development is not coming to our parts of the country.
That's true.
And if you go to the Volta region, many people living there, I come from the Volta region, so there's that growing perception that we are being deprived of the needed resources. I'm not laying the blame squarely at the doorstep of the New Patriotic Party administration, because we've had the erstwhile NDC administration that was in power for close to 8 years. That has been and will always be from indications
some say that the voter apathy in the last election was because of that.
Was a clear indication that there's that growing feeling that there's no development. So when you have a group of people coming to say that these central government officials don't really care about us, and all they are interested in is their cars and whatever it is, people will begin to buy in that idea. You may see this as far-fetched from what's happening now, but Sogakope in itself has been one of the fertile grounds for this secessionist movement until recently, when the radio tone was closed. You remember that there was a back and forth between the regional administration and some of the key managerial staff of radio tone. Mm-hmm. The claim was that platform was being used to send out these ideas. And so you would see the kind of revolt you are seeing now from the people, because they feel that even the police service is not with us. These people are not for us. So security is connected to not just issues of the immediate criminal cases that we are recording, but there are remote factors that the Regional Security Council needs to sit down and then reassess and deploy measures to tackle these concerns.
All right, we'll take a break here. When I come back, there's the last issue up for discussion. Welcome back. This is press conference. Let's quickly clear some messages. Ramos Jidefu Agbeku, I hope I got the name right, from the University of Education, Winneba says, it's very deluding how the police force in the country acts when a crime is being reported to them. Recounting from the Ayawaso West Ogun by-election, it means that as a Ghanaian, you must be very alert and, as it were, prepared to defend yourself anytime, anywhere. Again, if it were one of their own, I think by now they might have clamped down on their assailants. No wonder of late civilians are killing them. Oh, no, that's not something we encourage. Amadou from Dodowa says, we are the insecurity in this country. We are in a state of insecurity in this country. Only God will save Ghana. Jojo from Domi, the complicity of the police in criminal activities with the country has become just too much. Sadly, you have very senior police officers come to shamelessly defend their men. The Ghana police are just not to be trusted. Ustaz Abdul Karim from Saboba, in as much as I share in the grief of the youth and the people of Sogakope, advise the youth to refrain from attacking the police, but rather collaborate with them to find the perpetrators of this heinous crime. Amuda from Nima says, so Anas wants to tell us that he knows security matters more than the police. I know the police have their issues, but he should not say they know nothing about their job. I don't think Anas said that the police know nothing about their job, Amuda. Maybe you didn't hear him right. This one from Mampong Ekwapim Apesamakahin in Anayo Inchi the First says, you are doing a great job. Keep it up. Thanks for watching too. Nana Apesamakahin from Ekwapim Mampong. All right. So let's do the final issue. It's got to do with the voters register. The inter-party resistance against the voters register. I've held quite a number of demonstrations across the country. They've also been organizing lectures to put forcefully across their point that there is no need for the Electoral Commission to compile a new voters register. They addressed another briefing this week.
On 26 February 2020, we sent another email to Genke Africa, who are the suppliers of the current BVDs, to find out whether or not the 72,000 BVD equipment they supply to Ghana's Electoral Commission are obsolete, and whether or not they can be upgraded and at what cost, if yes. In a response to our inquiry, the Managing Director and Project Director of Genke Africa, Mr. Harold Hermans, indicated as follows. 1. Contrary to the claims by the EC, the 72,000 BVDs they supply Ghana are not obsolete. BVDs the EC used for the 2019 district level elections worked perfectly. 3. The BVDs are upgradable and that they have presented a proposal to the EC for the upgrade of same at a cost far cheaper than the cost of replacing the current equipment with new ones.
Johnson is saying get here there. Senator, the EC has all a duty to respond to this, don't they?
Yes, they do. They do. I think this particular press conference and alerts by Imani have been essentially to question some of the facts being put out there by the EC to justify the compilation of a new register. And I think they need to respond to some of these issues. They have gone to the law 45A and said that they have the mandate to compile a register. But the law says that you compile a register and review it periodically. So which means that this is a biometric register. And let's not forget, this is not a manual register which you print out. And no, it's a biometric register, which means that it can be corrected. Whatever the issues in it can be corrected. But I think that the attempt to justify, when you state reasons why you're supposed to do something, and somebody questions those facts, it means that the reason is that what you're going to do itself is questionable. So they need to respond to this particular press conference and the questions being raised by Imani.
Anas?
Like he said, we need response from the EC on this particular matter, but we should be very, very careful because some years back in the 80s, young men were running to Ivory Coast because the place was very good. They said, oh, they were peaceful. We can also, by our own actions or inaction, put this country on the same level. So we should be very careful how we do things. But based on precedents we project, previously, opposition now in government, they wanted a new voters register. The then government now in opposition said no. We saw the things that happened, the demonstrations, the beatings. At the end of the day, what happened? We realized that what government and EC wanted was what happened. And if we look at the posture of the EC today, which I would describe as worrying, it points to the fact that, look, it's our thing. We want to do the new register. Whether you want it or not, we are doing it. The last meeting that was boycotted by these parties, that was the thing. When they entered, I understand the communication from the EC was that, look, we are not coming to meet you to get your opinion as to whether we are doing the thing or not.
That was one side of the story.
Yes, but the EC is here to come out and respond. That's why they have a public affairs department. That's their job, to come out and correct misinformation.
Duke, I have a very controversial position on this matter. I feel that increasingly the inter-party resistance is becoming a distraction to themselves.
Really?
Because the opposition, the job of an opposition political party is to capture political power. You would not be giving any credits if you win the argument of whether or not a new voters register should be created. The New Patriotic Party back in 2016 called for a new voters register.
It didn't happen.
It didn't happen. But they learned from a court directive that elections are won at the polling stations. That's where the inter-party resistance has to go back. The NDC set up a manifesto committee. I'm not entirely throwing away the need for a new voters register, but or whether or not we shouldn't do it. But my point is that a big political party such as the National Democratic Congress should be telling us with 10 months to the major election what it is that the alternative is. And if you set up, well, you can activate your legal wings to be engaging the EC. While you tell the people of Ghana what it is that you want to say.
Senna Nombo from Radio Gold, Anas Seidu, Citi FM, Citi TV security correspondent, and Blessed Suga from Class 91.3 FM. Gentlemen, it was great hosting you, and to you at home for doing the watching. And there is more in store here on Citi TV during this Heritage Month, and the Heritage Caravan just arrived from across the country today. Keep watching Citi TV. My name is Mensah Opoku.